Hello, friends. Welcome to the IKC Community Show. And it's my honor to have with me today Surender Gnanaolivu, retail design expert, to talk about what all is happening in the retail scene and what's more important now, is it products or experiences?
Thank you, Deepak. Wonderful to be here to share, learnings, and there's lots happening in the industry.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity to share it with this sector, which is focused on the kitchen.
Okay. So I was reading about you during my research on LinkedIn, and you've described yourself as retail experience design curator. Retail experience design curator. What's that all about? What does that mean?
So, retail design itself is, as a discipline itself, has undergone a lot of change. And it's no more just about creating, very efficient interiors alone. Interiors, appealing interiors. It's a lot about now putting together, understanding actually the consumers, what kind of experience they are seeking, and then use different disciplines to put that together to create an environment rather than just an interior of a store that helps deliver the brand's vision and the product's differentiated benefits to this consumer in a personalized fashion. Therefore, there's a lot of curation that is required. One can't leave the understanding of the consumer journey, in delivering the space. So actually, the design of the space comes last. One needs to understand the consumer, the brand, the behavior, all that, and then that gets curated into the retail experience. Therefore, this word curator, curation has come into this discipline. And with this another layer of technology coming in, this is getting all the more, what would I say, all the more layered. So it's got to be blended with different disciplines. The whole idea of curation has become that much more stronger now. So, that's what this trend is, what is kind of even helping professionals like me to redefine the way we work out a solution for a retail environment. Correct. So I think one has to take cognizance of various customer trends in shopping today. There are actually about 5 very, very key points that one needs to consider when looking at designing your store interior. What is that customer is operating in a multi-channel fashion, right? They do look at online, offline, they get information, they get insights, they get research. It's not just they are, just talking to the salesperson in front of them to give them the information. They no more rely only on that. I wouldn't say trust. Trust still gets built in the physical store, but they don't rely just on that. They want a lot more. They research and they get insights before they take a decision. So this multi-channel access, and thanks to COVID, customers are not shy in reaching for their phone and accessing information from any brand. You just put in the keywords and in a jiffy you get all the information that you need, on your hand itself, right in the
Actually,
palms of your hand.
the customer is much more informed now, even before
Absolutely, yeah,
he steps into the store.
exactly. In fact, they will get informed in front of you. They don't even have to come learn and come. Technology becomes so fast. Even the search engines are so fast, and Chat GPT also, kind of adding on to that the speed. One can just, as you're talking, they sometimes can access information which is beyond what you're talking. So one needs to take cognizance of that multi-channel access is extremely. It's a very big trend or a tool that consumers are using to get the information that you need. Now, can stores match up to that? Is something that is, that trend. The stores would need to match up to be able to give that much depth in information to be able to be relevant to this consumer. So second very interesting thing is multitasking, you know. So customers themselves are multitasking. See, homes itself get converted into workspaces. There are workspaces that get converted into leisure spaces and so on. So multitasking for the consumer who's looking at multi-functionality in their solutions, which means personalization. I mean, the use of a couch could be for different things, or a use of a kitchen or a dining table could be for various things. There are many people using dining tables now for, as an office in smaller apartments. So, multitasking is something also one needs to keep in mind when the consumer comes into the store. That when they are looking at a certain product, they are looking at different ways in which that will help them, succeed in their lifestyle, multitasking lifestyle.
And
So that is
actually,
another thing which needs to be taken.
at least in the kitchen space, the biggest
Yeah,
multitask that we are seeing now is that the kitchen is no longer the space for cooking. It is becoming increasingly the space for entertainment, for entertaining guests.
absolutely, absolutely. I think that is something which, therefore, the way stores are being designed, or the kind of solutions that you're offering to customers in that particular domain, one should be able to uh, you know deliver the imagination that of this multitasking in that space, so one can't have built-in stuff so which look the same every time you come. Stores are looking at restageability of their solutions. Now that could be done physically, that could also be done using digital, saying that, hey, this is the kitchen that you're seeing. By the way, this can also get rearranged into something like this. IKEA does use a lot of videos that show you how multi-usage of spaces can be done, and how to organize your way of living in that, so that you're comfortable, at the same time you have the confidence to be able to multitask in that space. So I think IKEA does that beautifully, and therefore the visual merchandising also in various segments, not just kitchen, across has become what they call as restaging. You should be able to restage, not fix something and keep it static. You should be able to demonstrate to the customer when they're coming in front of you itself that multitasking is possible, because I can restage and show it to you how you can use it. So that has become another trend, very very important trend to be taken into cognizance when you design a store, a layout, or how you can plan different products coming together in solutions. The
Yeah,
third very important thing is transparency. Customers do look for reviews, they're looking for peer recommendations, they're looking for social proofing. They don't no more believe the brand directly. The brand says, I'm great. They say, hey, wait a minute, let me check with others if they feel the same way. And they're not going to believe you, just because you say so. So therefore, one needs to build in this transparency. So it's all the more important for you to talk about what goes behind a product. What is the ethos behind a product? What are the different principles that you're following? Why is a product designed in a certain way? They want to know all that, and what other people are also saying about it. Therefore, technology does play a huge part in that, where you're giving access to the consumer not only to reach behind, backward integrate into your space, and also forward integrate into what the customers would say. So both of it. So transparency is definitely required, and transparency has become a way of life now. Rating, all these things. Even when you get into an Uber or you buy anything, in the marketplace, if somebody you get, it's a 2-star, nobody's going to touch it. So it's so important that you are able to deliver it. Many brands have been using in the electronics industry. It's used a lot. I recently saw also in Chroma, where they had these copy cards, shelf talkers which were there, which showed not just the price, also showed you the rating of the each product uh, online, so that you could see a product and you know how well it is accepted and how good it is. So transparency is become a huge, and technology is the only thing I believe that can deliver, because if the customer can have this experience on their own phone, the trust factor is much higher than you putting on a screen and you're curating the data. You might think that you're kind of putting it together so as to more like a marketing. They might think it's more from a marketing perspective. So I think transparency to be able to deliver it on the customer's phone has become again an extremely important thing. The fourth extremely important thing is the personalization. Personalization in that segment has gone into do it yourself, co-create, which also brings this requirement of brands and retailers to allow the customer to visualize what they are personalizing.
Right.
Is very important. So one is to personalize, other thing to visualize it, and because the customer need not necessarily be a interior designer or an expert, they have a certain vision in the mind, but the brand plays the role of enabling this vision to be visualized, in the space. So the ability to personalize, technology plays a huge role in personalization. I think IKEA used something they call the virtual home, which you put on those glasses, and it helps you virtually touch products, and then put products together and visualize with fantastic high-res accuracy something that you have in your mind, and then you can buy the products. So that's one way of doing it. A simpler way of doing it, also used through projection mapping. I think Deep Decor has used that, where you have a white interior, and you can project patterns of different soft furnishing, and then take a call on what type of soft furnishing from their catalog that you can deliver. The same thing is also possible in kitchen, because where you have different finishes of laminates, different finishes of pattern, styling, and so on. One could easily be able to use technology there to be able to deliver. So you can either do it, the whole thing can be on a virtual platform, it can be done, or it can also be done in a digital format in which projection mapping can be done. So there are different ways in which this personalization is required to be delivered. One can't shy away from that. I think the traditionally what used to happen is you show kitchen in a certain color, and then you show swatches, cards for them to make a decision. But I think one has to go beyond that when you show a swatch, you should be able to transform the form, the design, the 3D form, whether it's physical or a digital form, to take the shape or the finish that they have in their hand, to be able to quickly them to take a decision. And in a competitive scenario, the retailer or the brand who has the ability to do that is going to be winning, because he's able to visualize the entire product for them. So that has become an extremely important thing. So visualization is one thing, and if you actually map what the consumer want, is not just the visualization. They would also want things like complete the whole sale process. There are other elements like costing, time. What when you visualize, you're able to deliver all that helps actually to close the sale. So personalization has actually gone to a different level now. Everything is personalized. Cars are personalized. I mean, anything that you can think of, even meals on aircrafts can be personalized. So it has become like that. So personalization is a huge, I think, customer trend. The fifth trend, which is very strongly uh, gaining popularity and acceptance, is sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Many brands and retailers think that not yet, it's not time yet. We'll do it soon. But sustainability is definitely in the consumer's mind. There are many brands being built just around sustainability, which are going to be extremely strong with the great valuations, because the current generation is thinking about the future of the planet. So I think sustainability is huge, and it's about reducing waste, green design, how the customer wants to participate in saving the earth. It is not just about somebody saying I'm sustainable. That's about it. Customer says I want to participate in that. So it's very interesting how brands, again, I'm talking about IKEA because they are really very, very, very strong. In fact, their existence is on this. The Indian head, Susan, if you look at a card, it says, country head and chief sustainability officer. Country head and chief sustainability officer. I was talking to her and saying that, okay, yeah, you have adopted sustainability. And how much do you think your products can be or your entire business will gain financially if you didn't follow sustainability? So she just looked straight into my eye and said, that is not an option for us. There is no other way.
Oh, it's
So
a
she
mandate.
said, yes, it's a mandate. She's saying there's no other way. H&M also follows, things like that. So they have built a complete organization and institutionalize it in such a way that sustainable practices deliver you lower cost than normal. Their entire process, because currently if you suddenly decide to do sustainable products, it can get expensive, but they have taken it right from the start of the journey of a product, the end, and all the entire ecosystem, and worked it around sustainability. So it is they are able to deliver sustainability, and so they are hugely, I would think, future proofed when it comes to this. Many brands are thinking about it now, but I think now is the time to start looking at. So these trends, like I said, multi-channel, multitasking, transparency, personalization, and sustainability, I think are huge trends which retailers must take seriously and imbibe it into their DNA going forward if they want to be relevant and attract the new age consumer. So many brands, established big brands I work with, uh, are wanting to redo their entire brand. One of the main things they say is we are getting alienated by this generation. They say you're very old, so you're not aligned with our thinking, you're not aligned with our way of living, unless you can show it to me in the experience. I'm not
Okay.
willing to come to you.
You
Yeah,
mean to
so
say the young customer is uncomfortable when they're spending time in the store? They think the store is not talking to them.
that happens. So their perception is before even coming into the store. If I'm a very old 50, 60-year old brand, they think you are not likely to be relevant to them. So
Okay.
to break that, the store experience right from the store front has to demonstrate to them, look, we are updated. So there are many brands we're working with which are updating their look and feel and the experience and demonstrating it in the front of the store itself, saying that I'm different. There's a brand called Mokobara, which they are into this luggage, and they have just to be informed. So they have the advantage of straight away starting as a young brand. Whereas other brands, the older brands like VIP and others, are having this challenge of saying, how do we? It's not just a collection of products. The consumer, this new age consumer, wants the whole brand to be aligned to them. Not saying that here is this one set of products for the young, everything
Mhm.
else is for everybody, not for young. So then they don't trust you. So I think
So, could you take us through all these points, using all these points, how one should or one would design a good experience at a kitchen store?
I think very important for you to understand your customer and why are they coming into the store, what they are planning to buy, how do they buy the store, how can the store be able to talk to them without speaking to them. That's the first thing. When they come in, they see, if you're just going to see wardrobes and kitchens, you're fine. It's not talking to you. The point of view of the brand is not very clear. Saying what exactly is your expertise, what exactly how can I be benefited with you. So there is something called goals, gains, and pains. I know it's a
Goals,
little bit
gains,
of
and
goals, gains, and pains. Now, this is how retailers are able to map a customer. So, goals is the life objective of the consumer and associating with the brand. So maybe you're looking at a very modular kitchen. Maybe you're looking at a very space-saving kitchen. So those are different goals the customer would have, so that they can have a good life. Then, so their main thing is to say that how can I have a very, let's say, a very compact kitchen which can deliver me all. Therefore, they are looking at a multitasking. I talked about multitasking. So they are looking at space saving. So all these things can be the goal of saying, how do I maximization, of course, of life is another trend today, saying that how can I get maximum benefit. So this is something one needs to understand. That's the goals. Gains is the benefits of the products that help achieve the goals. So when you understand what is the consumer's goal, you need to say that how does my product deliver that goal? This is even before doing the layout of the store, right? You're understanding how does my product deliver the goal. Yes, I do have products that are space saving. So how can I call it out? Saying that if I know most of my consumers are coming to me for the main goal of coming to me is to look at smart solutions, I need to amplify that. Yeah. And the last thing is the pains. Pains is what is preventing them to have from the brand to deliver this goal and gain. That's the pain. When I walk in, am I getting enough information? Am I able to get all what I'm looking for? Maybe I'm looking for transparency. Maybe I'm looking for personalization. If I am unable to deliver, these are pains. I come in, I see a kitchen, I ask you that how do I kind of personalize it? Then there isn't a proper system which helps me visualize it. So that's a pain. So that is a pain, right? In a large kitchen which has multiple things, how do you show different? So when a retailer is able to understand a consumer, map the consumer's journey so as to address these goals, gains, and pains, then it is very easy to look at the rest of the design. Then the entire layout gets done based on that. What are the kitchen I should keep forward? What are the kitchen I should keep back? I mean, we constantly do that with many brands that we work with. I work with many brands, and many are multi-category. How do you decide which category comes first? Which category goes behind? So one has to understand, it's very important to understand the consumer and then map the journey and then look at gains, pains.
Understanding the goals of the customer and the gains that you could offer to the customer. These, I feel, might be easy to handle, but how does the retailer recognize the pains? Because pain to the customer is uh, accruing from the retailer's omissions. The retailer is not giving enough information, retailer is not having a well lit store, the sales. So, how does the retailer recognize the pains?
You see, anybody in customer service needs to have customer empathy. So if the retailer is looking at a very transactional journey of saying they come in and give because selling the product comes last. That's a decision the customer makes based on his how much you can influence them to feel positively towards the brand. So the first thing is to look at that aspect. Even if your product is great, if your service is bad, then you know that customers will walk out. So I think one has to have empathy for the customer to understand. That's when you say mapping. We actually note down, saying when the customer is standing right from how the customer is standing in front of the store, what is he seeing? Is he able to understand what he's seeing? That your window display does that. Is the window display able to communicate that their goals can be achieved with the gains with my product? Because sometimes we just put something there. It's not very well lit. So it's very simple. You start thinking of the customer. Sometimes what you do is you also call, like a focus group discussion, an FGD. If you do, then they will tell you what are my pains in buying a kitchen. That works the best actually. What I've seen in the past, it's good to get a bunch of friends, or if you know customers well, get them have coffee together and then chat. And I found that extremely, extremely useful. They'll give you some fantastic insights saying that, yes, you want me to read, some simple things like you want me to read about the product, but the font is so small. and your consumer is all 45 plus, and you're expecting them to read such small fonts. How do you expect to read? So those are these little things which are there, or you have a device there, which this like one thing that came out. There was a device in which the screen goes dead, so you have to tap it and then do something, then the screen comes on. Nobody is
Yeah.
touching the device. So that's a pain. So if you're depending the device to deliver insights about a product, and the device cannot be even, you will not show how to switch it on. You don't expect a customer to come and tap a dead device and expect it to come on. So these are simple things. So you go right across from the front to the back. Or I saw a store where there was a round table. In the round table, he had these huge book sample of these swatches of veneers and laminates. These books were pretty big, and whenever you when you open the book, it tends to topple off from the round table. That's a pain. So if you're expecting a discussion for 45 minutes, when I audited a store, very interesting, says just making the table round. So he said, "What is the solution?" I said, "Make that round table square."
Ah,
And he made it square, and then you could have a discussion without being interrupted. So the pains can happen all across. Or sometimes you have a store, it's a large store, where most of the discussions happens on the ground floor. 45 minutes they have the discussion on the ground floor, but the toilet is on the top.
ah.
So when you have 45 minutes on AC, somebody wants to go to the restroom, he has to go all the way up, walk up, go there. And so that's a pain. So it kind of you don't feel so good about it. I mean, all these little things are pain. So one has to actually sit and not be in self-denial of that, and then say that yes, recognize these problems in customers and solve it. Trust me, that makes a huge, big difference. So there, all lighting will come in. How you do signage. If I'm standing in front of kitchen, how do I know that there are different color options available without asking you? So can I have a swatch card right up there and say, or give a signage there which says, we have 25 colors in this. Not wait to be ask somebody to say, can I get a different color? Then you come up with a swatch card. These are all pains. So customer wants to discover everything themselves. They are not wanting to be assisted. Traditionally, unfortunately, most of the stores which I've seen in this sector are all served. So, they're all served. So you're dependent on the person on the other side. And many times when the senior person, not the junior guy, will say, please hang on, he's gone out for something, he will come now. Then he'll be making a call, customer aaya hai, can you please come? You kind of think that, it's completely depend on that guy. What if the customer could themselves browse and find, and you could help in assisting them rather than, doing the whole thing on your own? The new age customer, thanks to the phone, everything they want to discover themselves. They are not happy if somebody comes and tells them that this is good or this is not good. So I think that's going to be extremely important now going forward.
The retailing of the kitchens is very typical, iterative, consultative, long drawn out. So here I think what you are saying really makes sense, that the stores should be very transparent. They should show up the information right in front, right in the face, so that there's least amount of confusion. And the store, as you said, should speak for itself instead of waiting for a salesman. And if it happens to be a poor salesman, a weak salesman, then you had it. That's the lousiest experience that you could offer to your customer.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
And when you know that in any case the customer is going to go to another store to check out before even thinking of, so you have to be one step, two steps ahead of that, of all the others. So yes, in that sense, the customer, the retail experience, I mean technology, whatever you said, that becomes so much more important.
I think amplifying the gains will help deliver the value. So it's about cost. When you say that cost always is an issue, cost is an issue when you're not able to amplify the value. Then it looks expensive.
Since there is so much emphasis on transparency and sharing of information, and also enhancing visualization, that implies that the retailer needs to have a lot of content, digital content, other than what has been displayed over there. So, how can the retailer create this content? Because making content is also a cost.
Correct. I think, but now there are many ways in which content can be easily made. There are many of the newer upcoming brands or upcoming bootstrap, the startups which are there. They are using a lot of easily available softwares online, create simple content, because it's not to create something flashy, and it's got to deliver the gain. That's all it's not like a marketing content. So there's a difference between marketing, which kind of uh, lures you, and then I mean, I don't want to use the word mislead, but it can, kind of enhance the product beyond what the product can actually do. But here you look at honest communication, honest communication, saying, yes, this is what approve, this is what happens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is adequate content. Just to deliver that, I don't think there is cost involved. Even photo shoots and all that nowadays you do have, but you have to be smart about it. If you're going to go to traditional agencies and all, it's going to cost you a bomb. But there are many youngsters nowadays who freelance. In fact, I know some startups who just go to these youngsters who freelance, and they give you fantastic content at not at a very, very affordable price. So, but content is required. You can't get away from that. And if you're going to use it more often, then the cost also gets justified. So yes, that is a challenge, but like I said, you have to go beyond the traditional into the new age content generating industry, which is massive.
One very useful content, in my opinion, is the before and after. How the space in the customer's house was before the kitchen was installed, and what it looks like after the job has been completed.
Right.
I think many kitchen sellers lose out on this opportunity because it comes only once in the entire customer journey. After the customer moves in or starts using the kitchen, I don't think it will be possible to have those shoots. And doing those kind of shoots obviously costs some bit of money. Good. So if I think that's one thing, one content that sellers should try to have.
Yes, I think when the installation happens itself, it's important to get a shot to shoot it. And like I said, again, if you're smart, then you don't need to spend so much. Because everybody who is doing a shoot nowadays, their stores. And I also see I had got my kitchen done about a year back from Design Cafe, and there was a shoot, and the process was very much simplified, easy, from start to finish.
So you went to their store, the Design Cafe
Yes,
store?
I did. I went to their, they have an experience center where all the decisions could be made sitting just there. The visualization, everything was done, and then it was totally transparent in terms of the costing, components that went in, the warranty, and so on. It's quite well institutionalized, and they've installed it. And when they left, also very clearly told me who to contact in case there's an issue and so on. So that I know that they haven't sold the kitchen to me and run away. They are still there. So that kind of helps. Yes.
Surender, a lot of kitchen brands are expanding their network and setting up a chain of stores. So graduating from one store and then becoming a multi-outlet operation, multi-outlet business, in whether it's in the same city or in different cities. So what do you have to say about the store concept? Should it be constant, or is there scope for variation?
I think Starbucks is an excellent example of this. No two Starbucks in the world is same. but they are highly institutionalized. So they are locally relevant. They're locally relevant in terms of the elements they bring in for visual, in terms of architecture and graphics and all that. But the way they deliver the product is the same across. I've been to Starbucks almost 20 countries, I think, and it's almost the same across all countries. India is because of a culture is slightly different, but in all other countries, more or less, it's same. So they have institutionalized it. I think it's very important to take different elements of retailing, the customer experience, and institutionalize it with the team, saying this is how our brand DNA is going to be in terms of an experience. Then you go and rapidly expand. Don't put up 10 stores and then try to institutionalize. Because I know people who got 200 stores trying to institutionalize. I don't want to name the brand. It's a nightmare because each have got now their own. You've allowed now the to be very, what do you call, the people operating the stores. Each store has the DNA of that person operating the store. So it's the brand, what the brand's vision or the brand's what I call is the main point of view is lost. So the customers, the communication or the presentation of the customers' goals, the gains are different across different stores. I mean, that's the worst thing that can happen. So I would think that one has to be very clear what your the goal and the gain. You must document it, and then it should become part of your DNA, like what many of the great international brands do, and then rapidly roll out, but have again a local context. You could have a different context. India is very diverse. So that comes in the emotive part of it, not in your the physicality of the store, more in terms of how you serve the customer. Some places they might say namaste. Some maybe you might want to ask how's your family doing. Some places they may not like that. So that is a local context. The emotive part becomes local context, but your brand's deliverable ought to be pretty much the same across. People like IKEA, I'm going back to IKEA, they spent 4 years before they opened the first store. In fact, I was speaking to their head of brand experience, Eric, and he was talking about how they had dinner in different segments of people, their prospective customers. They went and had meals in their house, almost when they lived there, to understand how they think about home, how they do up their homes. Then, based on that, they came up with their entire assortment of products. They've tried, to get because they are a foreign brand, and all these gentlemen I'm talking about are not Indians, but they know more about Indian culture than I was quite surprised. He seemed to know more about South Indian culture than I did because he has done so much of research. He said, "Did you know in Karnataka this is how they eat? They use two spoons and one something else, and therefore our dinner set in Karnataka has got two spoons plus whatever those katoris and all that." Yeah, amazing. He said they use three side dishes. So we got three. I mean, they gone to that level of detail. But you go to an IKEA store, the experience is across the world the same. So I think institutionalization is extremely important. You have to, first of all, define your brand's DNA, your brand's, the customers' goals and gains that you're going to, address, then expand. That's what my advice would be.
What more should the retailer be doing to maintain that concept? Because very often these get, there's attrition, people change, the original idea is lost, local modifications are done. So how to maintain that clarity of idea and the concept of the experience of the store for the long run?
I think training to build ownership is a huge task. That is, I think, the main task of a store manager or an owner of a store. One way to do it is like when I said, when you look at this customer journey mapping, we look at multiple rituals that happen in the store. We call that rituals. When a customer walks in, what is the ritual? What are you going to ask? There are a set of things that need to be. That's how you institutionalize. So ritual, he walks in. Yes, he's got something in his mind. You would know there are 2-3 types of customers. Somebody who knows very clearly what he wants because they have a design background. There's somebody who's not too sure. There's somebody who has no clue. but has got the money, he's got a new house, he wants to set it up, he's come walking. So three types of customers. So there is a ritual that needs to be built to be able to identify and then to deliver to them, to take them step by step. So once they give you what they need, then come the next ritual of saying, what do I do next? How do I now present my store or the solution to them? Then there's another ritual in saying that how do you convince the customer? So for some people, it might be price, some people may have design. What exactly is going to be the value that you're going to tell the customer? Come to us, we'll give you great solutions at a great value. That could be your brand's point of view. So these set of rituals need to be imbibed into whoever walks into the store. Internationally, even in many of the hypermarkets, 30-40% of their staff is all temporary stuff. They're temporary stuff, right? So they are trained. They are before they enter the store. They are mostly college students, trying to earn some money on the side. One of my nieces also was doing that. So when I went there, she's very playful and she does whatever at home. She's a typical kid. But when I went and met her in the store, I was looking at a different human being. Is that you? I mean, she was totally different. So she said, how come? She said, very clear. When I crossed the threshold of the store into the store, I am no more Divya. I am Costco's employee Divya. And they have told me these are rituals I have to do. I go do it, I do this, I do that, I do that. So you see all of them doing that. So they are able to deliver that. And they are temps. They're not even full-time employees. So it's a kind of institutionalization of this training that is so important in delivery, not to be taken lightly. So even if they're coming from some other brand and they come and say that I've got 5 years experience, I've seen that happen. Somebody comes to say I've got 8 years experience, you hire the guy, he's bringing in what he learned from the previous. Their goals are different, their gains are different. But he's coming here and mixing it all up. So it becomes very personalized. Then if there's a guy called, let's say, Raju in one of the stores I know, everybody is going to ask for Raju. That means you've got a problem, right? Why should they go and ask for Raju? They should be saying and say, I want to go to the store. I want to shop in the store, not look for Raju, because Raju is the only guy who's able to deliver, which means you haven't institutionalized it. Tell me in IKEA, nobody will know even the name of these guys who's working there. You will not know the name. Next time you go, there'll be somebody else. But it's institutionalized. I think that is something which we lack a lot in India, because culturally we are different from the way they are. So I think that is something, if you put in, it becomes much more easier and stronger. So training is extremely important. Here is where technology comes in. What if we had videos of this, simple videos? Maybe you yourself can play act and role play, not play act, role play. And this is what we do when we do training. So whenever new comes in, they see the training. Customer comes in, so there's a role play that's happening. Okay, watching it in the video and saying step 1, step 2, this is how you behave. Then a test is conducted for them, saying that have they actually understood. Then only they're allowed to go onto the floor. This is what all those brands do. They have long periods of induction, 10 days, 14 days of induction, by when you'll be able to think just like the brand and be able to deliver better. I think that is something which is really, really missing here in India. Many stores I have seen. Unless the owner is there or unless the store manager is there, you're not likely to get great service.
No wonder you call this the art and science of experiential selling. I think that's what you like to call it. There's art and there's the science of it.
Great.
Well, Surender, thanks for sharing so much of this knowledge that you accumulated. By the way, I was reading that you were in the Air Force earlier before you got into retail. How did that happen?
So I'm an engineer. I'm an industrial engineer. And I did join the Air Force looking after surface-to-air missiles. Interestingly, one of the big learnings for me there was institutionalization. I mean, there's no other place better to institutionalize than that. I mean, it's about, and of course, there, if you do a mistake, it could cost a life. It's about, following, SOPs and guidelines to that extent where it's non-compromising. I think that is something which I think bigger brands do that. So I do see a lot of connect between the defense and here. So yes, interesting. I'm using my learnings there, where they keep saying, the team is bigger than the individual, which is what I meant. No, it shouldn't be because of the owner or the star salesperson there. The entire team or the brand is much bigger than the individual. I think that's yeah.
And only then the store will speak to the customer by itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. At all times, at all locations.
Thank you
Most
for
welcome.
joining me on the IKC Community Show, and hope to catch up with you again soon.